Hey, what's up, interpreters? My name is Richard Munoz. I'm a interpreter in California, Sacramento, and I work for the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. And I'm excited to be here to tell you all about our upcoming conference.
What is up, interpreters? I am Paul Caputo, Executive Director for NAI.
Well, what is up, interpreters? I am Song, your NAI conferences and events manager. And Richard, you let the cat out of the bag. We're going to talk a little bit about conference. Richard Munoz is our NAI 2026 overall conference chair. And Richard, where is our conference going to be this year?
We're going to be in Oakland, California.
Heck yeah. But Richard, okay, we will talk a little bit about conference, but let's talk about you and California Fish and Wildlife. Your title is kind of long here, Richard. You are, let's see, sorry, Fishing in the City program and like community coordinator specialist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, community engagement specialist and program coordinator. So I get to run a fishing program for Sacramento, where we connect with community organizations and just particularly youth, but the community as a whole. And we try to teach people how to fish. We bring people out. We bring all the equipment. We'll stock ponds in the Sacramento metropolitan area, and we have the amazing job of teaching people how to fish. And while we do that, we're sprinkling in conservation messages. We're tying in, we're doing interpretation on the fish and ecology. People don't even realize they're soaking up all these amazing information, getting connected to each other and to this place while they're learning how to fish. So it's a blast.
That sort of stealth interpretation is always sort of fascinating to me, right? Like that, they're coming out to learn sort of a recreational activity, but they are learning about so much else while they're participating in that. Does anyone ever catch on to you and say like, "Hey, like I'm not here for all that. I just want to learn how to fish."
Well, most of the kids are pretty much say that. The parents are like, "Wow, this is great. We got so much more than we thought we were gonna get." But the kids sometimes are like, "Man, can I just skip this and go straight to the pond?" I'm like, "No, no, no, it's all good." And by the end of it, they're caught up in it and they're absorbing it all, and it's all good. But certainly at the beginning of the morning, they just want to hit the water.
Richard, what kind of interpretive themes do you use in these programs? And are they mainly for youth?
Yeah, it's particularly for youth, mainly because of fishing licenses. In California, you have to be, once you're 16 or over, you have to have a fishing license. So we try to overcome that barrier to participation in a variety of ways, but the most of our programming is tailored to 5 to 15-year-olds because they don't need a fishing license. But some of the themes that we'll focus on are, I mean, of course, recreational safety, doing this type of recreation safety and safely. And it's really, I mean, that's not too hard to fish safety, water safety. But then we really get into conservation messages, like how to take care of the outdoors close to home, experiencing outdoors close to home. Most of these are urban ponds or urban parks. So it's trying to facilitate this kind of a reframe for folks in an urban setting to say, like, this is an opportunity. This is a space where you belong. This is a space where you can come fish, and we want to help you do that.
So you're talking about the community that you're serving there in Sacramento. With NAI, you have been involved with our Justice, Equity, Diversity, Accessibility, and Inclusion JEDI section. You've also been one of the main players in our Interpreting Environmental Justice Conference, which is an online conference that we do every year where we discuss issues of diversity and equity and inclusion. How did you get involved in that work, and how does the work that you're doing with NAI in those areas affect what you're doing with your work in Sacramento and serving those communities?
Wow, that's a great question. Thank you. How did I get involved? I think it was a number of years ago, right around the time of the pandemic. And like many folks, I found myself with extra time, lots of time, not really too sure what to do. A good friend, Francis, was involved with the Jedi section, and we had connected, and he had told me that he's participating in the Jedi section and kind of recommended, me looking into participating as well. So I did, looked into it, and said, yeah, I would love to be, affect positive change in whatever capacity I can. And so jumped into that head first. I had to get elected, which like was cool that people voted for me. I was thankful for that. But just ever since that, and there's such an amazing team in the Jedi section too, where everyone is like-minded. Our mission is aligned, and we're all on the same page to how do we increase and elevate the awareness of these concepts. Not only for ourselves in what we do, but for our members and for the National Association for Interpretation. And that was really powerful and kind of a galvanizing time for us, and remains to be that. And kind of from that and my participation in that, in the Jedi section, the Interpreting Environmental Justice Conference came about, and you were a big part of, Paul, and kind of bringing that together and bringing the Jedi section along with the sustainability section. And since then, the young professionals section has also come to participate in that in a major way. So connecting with those folks on that planning team, Brady and Caroline and Jesse, another amazing team that really brought us together and really say, like, how do we articulate what we want to do, how to increase awareness for interpreting environmental justice and what that looks like, how that is changing our profession, how that is bringing our understanding of what we do into new places. So that's been really exciting to join in on that. Yeah, I think I answered the question. Did I answer it?
You did. Well, and I do have a follow-up though, too, which is I'm curious how that work with NAI has influenced the work that you do working with the communities where you work in Sacramento.
Yeah. That's I love that part of the question too. Before my participation in the Jedi section and the IEJ conference, I felt I was, I had my own kind of local network of professionals and interpreters within here in California and in my area, but it really expanded that network and really expanded my thinking in terms of how I approach my work. There was new resources, new thoughts, new people to consult with, to bounce ideas off of, and to kind of influence my approach to the work that I do. So in that way, it's been really like broadening, and it's broadening and deepening what the work that I do and trying to make it impactful for people.
Well, and I think it's important to note too that you brought that ethic to the work that you're doing already. It's one of the reasons that you are an award recipient from NAI. Your award acceptance speech a couple of years ago was one of my favorites of all time. So, certainly that is something that you brought to NAI and to the Interpreting Environmental Justice and to the Jedi section. So we appreciate that. And you are bringing it to this year's conference in Oakland, California.
Yeah,
Thank
Paul, I
you.
was going to say that.
Sorry, song.
Meritorious Service Award 2024.
Yeah, that was really a professional highlight, probably the professional highlight of my of my career. Something really special to me in my heart, and really motivating as well. That the work that I've been doing is making a difference, and it's important to not only myself but to others, and that we want to continue to do that work and keep making it happen and inspire others.
Heck yeah, Richard. Which brings us to, we can talk a little bit about conference. Yeah.
I'm
But I
excited
don't
about
know.
it.
I don't know. How much should we divulge, Richard? We are
Mm.
working feverishly, aren't we, behind the scenes? And actually, I don't know if we need to tell everybody what day it is, but next week I will see you in person, which I'm really excited about, at our site visit in Oakland. And our theme is creating community rooted in interpretation. So that theme is really right up your alley. with everything
Yes.
that you're doing. I don't know, maybe tell everybody a little bit of the excitement and maybe a little tiny sneak peek about our planning.
Okay. Yeah. I'll try not to. If I end up saying too much about the planning, let me know. I actually just got a phone call this morning about some of the folks we've been reaching out to. So I'll save that story and I'll share that with you later. But I'm excited about this conference. I think it'll be an inspiring time. It'll be so inspiring. I think it'll make your house plants grow faster. That's how inspiring it's going to be. It's going to be. We're heading to a vibrant, creative, culture-rich place in Oakland. I think the history of Oakland, the rich community, the diversity of Oakland is just an amazing setting to explore this idea of being rooted in community and how that informs and makes our interpretation more connecting, more powerful, more provocative, and just an amazing experience for folks.
Well, and that creating community rooted in interpretation obviously is a play off of the word rooted because Oakland uses roots as a metaphor very often in much of what they do. You're proud of your connection to Oakland, in spite of the fact that you live in Sacramento. Not too far, not too far, but you are fiercely proud of that. We've had that conversation of your connection to Oakland, the community, the sports teams, the history, the culture, the green and the gold, all of that. Or the black and the silver, I should say, depending on the team that we're talking about. But
Yeah.
the city flag for Oakland is gold and green. What is it about Oakland that inspires that pride for you, and what is it that you love about Oakland as a place?
That's a great question. Yeah, I think it's a place where creativity and activism and cultural expression there's a long history of it, and it thrives even to this day. Just talking to some of the folks that we've been connecting with about the conference has been inspiring. Just hearing their stories. There's a deep emphasis on indigenous and black and people and immigrant stories in Oakland, and that richness mirrors our conference theme. It's important that Oakland has always been a community-driven place of innovation and environmental stewardship. So I think all of those create an amazing setting for our conference.
Yeah,
And
I'm
of
super
course, I
excited.
love the Raiders. They break my heart all the time, and it's almost every year. But
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan. Even when it hurts, 'cause I think that's what a real fan is.
I think we should have an offsite session to the Oakland Roots soccer team, though, since the roots and the rooted in interpretation kind of
Mm,
they connect there.
That'd be
love
a
it.
great field trip. I'd go. Let's back up just a little bit, Richard.
Mm.
How in the heck did you get involved in interpretation and then eventually end up where you are? NAI award recipient with California Fish and Wildlife. Get me from A to B.
Yeah, yeah. Want to go way back, making me feel old now. Yeah, it's my my family, particularly my grandpa. He was a World War II vet, and for whatever reason, I feel like he was ahead of the curve on a number of understanding a number of things. But he took our family outside and to the outdoors in ways that were safe for us. Like, and as looking back, I see this now. As a kid, I was just playing, throwing rocks into a pond. And everyone's getting mad at me because I'm scaring the fish away. But he took us out and we rode deep. I mean, like 40, 50 of us, all the cousins, all the Theas and Theos. And this was at a time where there were hardly any people of color in these spaces. We would literally take up 6 to 8 campgrounds. Two of those campgrounds were just our food, like just stacks of food. The other ones are where we slept and played. And because at that time, they didn't have group camping sites. It was all, 6 person per campsite. So in order to follow rules and not get hassled more, we had to, take up these mass amounts of campsites. But I also noticed as a kid, while we were there, that every shift change, the whoever the ranger or whatever the law enforcement person was at that site would come by. And we were never doing anything wrong. Of course, there was, drinking going on, but there was never anything like belligerent or problems. But they would always come by, and it was always, friendly. I'll say, just checking in, talking, and it was all good. We'd offer them food. Sometimes they would take it, and then they would leave, and it was all fine. Then the next shift changed. Next time, the next ranger would come by, and I didn't think nothing of it as a kid growing up. Looking back, I kind of looked at like, I wonder why I don't see him checking in, or that ranger, whoever, checking in on every other campsite, but they always come to ours. So it kind of created this dynamic as we were recreating and spending time in the outdoors that like, oh, I don't know if we're necessarily welcomed. We're kind of tolerated, but it didn't necessarily feel like we were welcomed into the space. And that was really formative for me, those experiences growing up. And we went for years. Every year we went as a family. Then we started, as I got older, I started going myself with the homies. I got used to spending time outside because that's how we were kind of raised. And as I got older, these experiences became like, I started to feel that more viscerally, that I'm not particularly welcomed. There's not many other faces of color in these spaces. And that really had a profound impact on my development and in my career. As I got into, going to school, searching out majors and degrees and whatnot, I knew I wanted to be outside. I knew I wanted to do something with the environment. I loved it. It's where I felt, my best. And then I realized there was a profession called interpretation. And my advisor was Carolyn Ward at Humboldt State. It was Humboldt State, now it's Cal Poly Humboldt. And she was amazing. And I just knew like, this is a way to change the experiences that I had growing up for people that look like me, or people that may not feel welcome in outdoor spaces, people that experience prejudice or discrimination in outdoor spaces, that this interpretation is a way for me to break down those barriers, welcome people in a meaningful way, and kind of make sure that the experiences those negative experiences I had aren't being felt by folks coming up on, younger folks coming after me, or even folks that are looking to try to get outdoors, whatever age they are. And so that was really how it brought me into the space. And as I got into the professional world after graduating, started with California State Parks, now with California Fish and Wildlife, that has always been just my heart. And my desire in interpretation is how to create these spaces of belonging and welcoming for everyone. And when I say everyone, I mean, I give that special attention to those that have been excluded, haven't been able to participate in these types of experiences, in the past for all the various reasons. So it's kind of the long, somewhat abridged way to respond to the question, but it's always been my heart from the way that I was brought up. It's been in my heart to make these spaces of belonging, these outdoor spaces for belonging for people. And an interpretation was the amazing vehicle and way to facilitate that.
Well, you say it was a long-winded answer, but I'm going to ask you to expound on it some more, because you and I go way back. I don't remember what year it was, but it's been at least 15 years, maybe more, since we met at a regional workshop. And we've gotten to work together in a lot of different ways. But you've been in the field of interpretation for decade and a half, 2 decades. I mean, it's been a little while now. I'm curious how you have seen the profession change, and maybe your audiences change, or what are the changes that you have seen over the course of your career in this profession?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We do go way back, Paul. And I got one story to share, and then I'll respond to the question. We had brought you out, and you were sharing with some of our interpreters with state parks, and a lot of it was graphic design stuff. And and you probably know the story I'm gonna say, but I showed up, and I think it was like day 2 maybe, and someone had gifted me an NAI shirt, like button up shirt, and it was like one of the nicest like professional shirts I owned at the time. And I wore it like day 2. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sport my NAI gear. Paul's here, NAI, we're getting connected. I'm feeling proud of it. And I show up in it, and Paul's like, oh man, that's the old logo. And we had just at that time we had just changed it to the new logo, which is way better.
Thank
And
you.
So he was like, man, you got to get the updated shirt. And you were so kind. And I think part of it was like, you just didn't want that shirt to be worn too much more. Like, let's do a full wholesale switch to the upgrade. And you gifted me, because I told him this was a gift from a buddy, and you gifted me a similar shirt. It was black button up with the updated logo, and I still have that one as well. I still have both of them, actually. So yes, thank you for that. So we go way back. Yep.
Way back. That really that warms my heart. That I remember that. I remember that happening, and I still sort of chuckle about it. But it must have been after 2006, because that's when we changed the logo. But I remember the shirt that I had, and I remember saying, well, we got to get you into the new logo here. I will say, nostalgia is a toxic impulse, right? But people that our new visual branding specialist, our new designer, has brought the old logo back and has put it on like some retro gear. So my
Oh,
so
right on.
it's back out there again.
That's funny. I didn't know that. So I might have to bring my old shirt out too. Now
You
that I'm
bring
ahead
it
of the trend.
bring it to Oakland, absolutely.
Right on. What was the question? I'm
The
sorry.
question was, how has your the profession changed for you over the
Yes.
years?
Yeah. In so many positive ways, I think is the short response. As a professional, seeing an increase of diversity of all sorts into as professionals, not only certainly through ability diversity, racial diversity, of the neurodivergency, and like just the welcoming into the professional space of new interpreters that look different or act different or talk different than what the history has kind of welcomed into the space. So that's been amazing to see this shift for a variety of interpreters to come in, and the desire for different all different walks of life, all different cultures and ethnicities to want to be interpreters. I think that's really, really encouraging and impactful and inspiring. In terms of the how it's impacted the work that we do in the audience that are coming, visitors that are coming, I think it's the same. It's been so encouraging and so motivating to see new audiences, non-traditional audiences that don't necessarily feel comfortable in these spaces, and being able to like help increase that level of comfort and increase their ability to feel welcomed and like they belong in these spaces has been really, really cool. So I think, just to kind of wrap that question up, I think I heard some quote, and I know it's from a famous person, but I don't know the famous person, so I don't know if I should even say it. Anything anything worth doing is worth doing bad,
Huh?
and it's just this idea of it's okay to be uncomfortable in trying new things, and it's okay to learn. Like when we learned how to walk, we fell a whole bunch. There's so many things we learn are like that in life, and so as more people are coming to these outdoor spaces that haven't traditionally been welcomed or been present in the outdoor spaces, there's going to be we get the pleasure and the privilege to work with those folks while they stumble and while they learn, and get to kind of mentor and cultivate just a space where they belong, a space where they feel welcomed. And I think that's why I'm here. I know that I think a lot of people feel the same way.
Well, yeah, Paul, I'm going to use that quote next time I turn in like a bad office report or something to you.
I've used that for my
Ah,
boss too.
Somebody
Richard
kind of
said,
famous said it. It must be true.
oh my gosh. Okay, Richard, what does a great day out at a fishing in the city event look like?
Ooh, great day
Like,
at
give
a
me your
fishing
best
in the
day out
city.
there.
I love that. It's gonna go back and forth between this like coordinator perspective, and as well as like a an enjoyer of the scene, of a participant, so to speak. So as a coordinator, there's plenty of help. We got all the staff there, all the volunteers there. There's like everyone. There's so much help that it's not hard for anybody.
Massive
So that
budget.
Yeah, right. Well funded. All the
Right.
gear is maintained. There's plenty of bait. The fish have been planted into the water, and there's so many fish they're almost jumping out of the water. So all that happens before, and so that's part of how the day begins. The other part is when the folks start showing up, and they're excited to. A lot of times we get so many beginners, so many novice, so many youth that have tried fishing and haven't caught a fish before. So this day includes numerous fish that are getting caught, and numerous youth that are catching their first fish, and they're just glowing from the excitement. The day includes people cheering when a kid's pulling in a fish, and everyone starts clapping and cheering for them. So these are all kind of regular scenes at a fantastic event. There's another aspect of a great event would be our partners that are involved. We have multiple partners that bring youth leaders out to help teach the other youth to fish. So they're involved. We have partners that bring their individuals. We work with the disability community, the special needs community. We work with the various ethnically different, like the Asian community, African American and Latino community. So all those partners are involved, and they're bringing their folks out and their families out, and sometimes they're translating for us. And so there's translation that's going on, and there's just also what is happening is folks amongst themselves are connecting. They're talking, they're sharing, what bait is working, what are the fish biting on right now. They're talking about good recommendations on how to cook the fish, on how they like to prepare their meals when they catch them, how to clean the fish. So just these organic connections amongst people that are happening as well. And the staff are doing their thing and not complaining. There's like zero complaints. I'll say that too.
Best day ever.
I think we're getting a lot of
Yes.
insight into what a bad day looks like if
Yeah.
you just flip all of this on its head here.
Right, exactly.
Oh my
Exactly. Yeah, what a great question. Yeah, it's fun to think about. And honestly, I will say too, most of the events do go like that. There's a lot of those elements are included in just about every event. And so our events are really just a special space that we, even as staff, I feel like we understand the privilege that it is to do what we're doing and bring people into this fishing experience and hopefully usher them along their fishing journey.
Well, Richard, I, for one, would love to participate in one of your Fishing in the City programs. And I think possibly conference goers may be able to participate in one of these with you during conference. We are still trying to get those details worked out, but that is a possibility. And then two, I want to go camping with your family. 2 whole campgrounds just for the food? Like, what the heck? Man, sign me up. Sign me up.
Everything, yeah. The food was the center of everything, for sure.
Richard, this has been so much fun. It's always fun to get to hang out with you, whether it's virtually or in person. You guys all have the site visit next week. I'm jealous that I won't be there to hang out, but I'll be living vicariously through your reports. In the meantime, thank you so much. And you're involved with so many different things with NAI. I hesitate to ask this question, but where can people find the work that you're doing, either with Fish and Wildlife Service or through NAI, online or wherever?
Yeah. So I'd say you could always check out Fishing in the City, Sacramento. That's our website. We have our schedule on there, a little bit more insight to the program and what we do and our heart behind it. But I would say connect with us through the Jedi section with NAI, and there's opportunities there to we have a book club going on. We'll have our members meeting coming up. I don't know the exact date, But we will get that information out. And then if you're not sure, you can hit me up personally. Can I share my email? I mean, it's
Sure.
my work email. So
Yeah.
my work email is richard.munoz, Munoz, not S. Z.
Not S song. Z.
Richard.munoz, Munoz, at wildlife.ca.gov. Please feel free to reach out. I'd love to connect, chat about anything coming up with NAI or anything with fishing, anything interpretation. But yeah, it's a joy to be here.
And interpreters?
That's what's up.
What's up?